50 meters or 164 feet, above the dense forests of Papua, Indonesia, there lives a tribe that builds their homes in the trees, not just for fun, but for survival. They've built their houses up in the trees. Why? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore in this program. So stay right here and don't go anywhere, because I'm about to tell you the real and mysterious story of the Korowai tribe's way of life. The Korowai tribe lives in one of the most remote areas of Western Papua, in the Indonesian archipelago. This environment is full of mosquitoes, flies, and dangerous animals. But the strangest thing is that here, they've built amazing houses not on the ground, but high up in the trees. Because of this unique lifestyle, the Korowai people are mostly known as the tree people. Getting to this area is really difficult. In fact, it's a 3-day journey from the city of Jayapura to this tribe, first by plane, then by boat. After that, there's a long walk through leech-filled swamps. Until 1975, no one outside of this particular area even knew that these people truly existed. But in any case, approximately 3,000 individuals currently live here. Of course, that's just an estimate because it's really hard to find many of them, so they're not included in the official statistics. These people live in small groups of 10 to 20. But living in the middle of the jungle is definitely challenging. Still, the Korowai don't see the jungle as their enemy. To them, it's more like a friend and a support system that deserves respect. You could say the jungle is both a shelter and a source of life for this tribe. The people of this tribe have learned to skillfully walk on tree trunks that have fallen to the ground. To climb up the trees and reach their homes, they use ladders or even their toes. Basically, they cling to the trees and climb straight up with ease. The height of the Korowai tribe's houses ranges from 15 to 50 meters, which is about 50 to 165 feet. The locals say there are several reasons for building such tall houses. Sure, the view is certainly much nicer up there, but mostly it's a very smart choice to stay safely away from wild animals, high humidity, and destructive floods. These elevated tree houses even allow the Korowai to easily remove the ladder if they spot any danger approaching from afar, so they can remain safe up there. Let's take a look at the structure of their houses. In the center of the house, there's a main trunk around which the entire structure is built. Everything is tightly fastened with plant ropes so it doesn't fall. Besides the main trunk, several other posts are planted next to the tree for balance, so the structure stays stable. According to Korowai tradition, whenever the children grow up, want to get married, and the family is getting bigger, a new house has to be built. To build a house, the Korowai first find a suitable tree. In this regard, the tree must be chosen for its strong wood, and more importantly, it has to be within the person's own land. The Korowai mark the boundaries of their land with signs like streams and mountains. They believe that living on a living tree means being in complete harmony with nature, not dominating it. This is, in a way, going along with the rhythm of nature. The first step in building the house is to climb the tree and trim the branches to make the floor of the house. They usually use the wood of the sago palm tree for the floor and walls of the house, and its leaves for the roof. In fact, the floor of the house is made from sturdy beams and interwoven branches, and the roof is designed with a slope. The walls are also designed in a way that prevents the heavy rains of the rainforest from getting inside. The house is ready within 5 days and can be used as long as it doesn't get damaged or rot. Usually, the lifespan of each house is somewhere between 5 to 10 years. And when the wood rots, the Korowai go find a new tree and build a new house. Each house is usually built for an extended family. Its area is about 20 to 40 square meters, which is roughly 215 to 430 square feet. What do I mean when I say extended family? By extended family, I mean that the family members are usually from more than 2 generations. That means, besides the parents and children, the grandparents and sometimes other extended family members such as uncles, aunts, and their respective children all live together in one household. Of course, by our modern urban living standards, this house size might indeed seem rather small, but for the Korowai, this space is not only entirely enough, but sometimes even considered quite large. The reason is that their lifestyle is completely different from ours. The Korowai spend most of their time outside the house, and for them, the house is just a shelter, not a place where they want to spend their whole day. On the other hand, the Korowai's view of privacy is completely different from the concepts we have. For the Korowai, communal living and physical closeness are signs of intimacy and solidarity. So, being together makes them feel even more secure. That's why the arrangement of items inside Korowai homes is also very compact, simple, and practical. There are no colorful decorations, bulky furniture, or large items. Everyone sleeps on the wooden or mat-covered floor, and they only need a few wooden platforms, a fire pit, and a small area for storing supplies. That's right. Aside from using the wood and leaves of the sago palm tree to build their homes, the Korowai also extract a type of starch from the trunk of this tree, which they use as their main food source. In fact, when they cut down the tree, they split the trunk open to reach the soft, white center. This part is the core of the trunk. Then they pound and crush this soft part, or the core, using wooden or metal tools until it turns into something like wood chips and fine fibers. After that, they spread the crushed core onto a tray or a woven mat and pour water over it. The water causes the starch to separate from the fibers and sink down as a sweet-colored liquid. Finally, they pour that liquid into a container or a pit so the starch can settle at the bottom. Once the water is removed, what remains is sago starch paste. This paste is used to bake sago bread or cake. What a strange and interesting idea they have. But for the Korowai people, their home isn't just their house. Their entire environment has become truly one with them. In fact, the house is merely a shelter, and they obtain everything else they need based on their daily requirements. You should know that tropical rainforests are almost always green. The temperature stays almost the same throughout the year. It's usually warm, somewhere between about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. That's why the Korowai don't really experience the classic 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter the way we do. The locals say they sense the passage of time and changes in the seasons through certain signs, like seasonal fruits or the time when turtles lay their eggs. Still, in recent years, the Indonesian government has built new villages along the rivers to bring the Korowai out of the forest. Many of the young people also leave the tribe without hesitation and move to these villages. In fact, when they see electricity, lights, and other urban amenities, they no longer want to go back to their hard old way of life. In the village, they can taste rice, tea, coffee, and other things they've never experienced in the jungle. Plus, there they get to meet other people and learn how to socialize. Still, a small number of the Korowai remain loyal to the jungle. They were born in the very deep jungle and want to leave this world in the jungle too. Indeed. But some say that building very tall houses has become much less common now, and when they are built, it's mostly to attract tourists and filmmakers, not for practical use. Others say the reason today's houses are mostly built on wooden stilts about 3 to 4 meters, that is, 10 to 13 feet, above the ground, is that climbing 50 meters, that is 160 feet, up a tree every day can be really risky. But the locals say this lifestyle is actually vital for them, because they need to stay as far away as possible from predators, venomous snakes, and floods. But I think traditions should always be kept alive, because they represent cultural diversity. In other words, the Korowai treehouses aren't just unique structures or a special way of life. They're a testament to human creativity, different ways of adapting to nature, and cultural diversity. Every custom, habit, and every color or symbol has a story to tell. What do you think? Write it in the comments. Do you agree or disagree with the Korowai people moving to government houses in the riverside villages? Also, write your reason. Living in the trees means being in harmony with nature and being creative in tough conditions. But the important point is that the secret to preserving traditional culture in a changing world is knowing how to interact with the outside world without losing your roots. So sometimes, maybe we don't need to distance ourselves from the wild nature. We just need to truly open our eyes and carefully think about finding a harmonious way to be accepted by nature or become an integral part of it, instead of always standing against it.